Hey y'all, so we are moving into April and I did my April forecasts and I've been doing some channeling that I've been putting on the blog, and I felt this need to talk today. I mean, we're almost at the 50, right? And I said when we get to the 50 I will do a live, which I will do a live, become intuitive. Live and in person with you. I don't know yet if that's going to mean more of a intuitive read like I've done in the past, where I'm just letting whoever wants to flow in and pass messages on will do, or if I'm going to make it more of a live, what are the cards saying sort of thing. So I don't know. But what I do know is that, so it's very interesting. If we look back at 2019, I have talked to friends of mine, and I actually talked in my last book that I wrote, which is Micronutrient Happiness. I just released it just a few months ago. It was a book that I wrote about more or less the vibrations of food and how our body system works based on, these vibrations of food and how it impacts us and how many different pathways. I mean, it's a very geeky sort of a read, except for mostly like the first chapter and the last chapter. Now, the first chapter, I really go into what kind of sparked me to write this new book, because my previous book before that was Exploring Aromatherapy. And Exploring Aromatherapy was really about just the basics and safety and how to use essential oils and how they impact our chakras, and a rundown of my top 50 essential oils. There was how to do a case study if you're new to essential oils. So there was all of that was going on. And that I released that January, of 2019. So by March of 2019, there was this moment, this pivotal moment for me, where I sort of came into this space of being somewhere where I had never been before. I talk about it being like someone smiles at you and all of a sudden, you're in a totally different timeline. And you're aware that there's so much more to this life than you've been living. And you start to be aware of your higher self being completely separate from your body self. And it starts to change the dynamic. So then in April of 2019, of course, is when Brene Brown's special hits Netflix. And all of a sudden, everyone's talking on Netflix about, about Netflix and on social media about being more open and being vulnerable and being in your true self. So by the time we get to the holiday season, in November, there was so much that was empathically coming into me in October that by November, I felt like I had to run a challenge in my Paleo Veggie group, which a lot of you may not know that I created what was coined at the time, over a decade ago, the Paleo Veggie lifestyle, because I wanted to do paleo. I was vegan, and everywhere I turned, they said, you can't do that. And I was like, I don't take I can'ts. I follow what I intuitively feel. This is what I feel is right for me. And I'm going to put the information out there for anyone else that thinks it's right for them. So I started with that. And so for my group that I have, I'm usually supporting people that are either just trying to lean from vegan into paleo, or maybe it's someone that is trying to do a whole 30 and there's almost zero information out there to do a whole 30 if you're vegan. And so, just to be a support, right? I don't charge people for it. It's just a free group that I've been running for over a decade of sharing with people how to be more in tune with your body, healthier, using higher vibrational foods. So I decided what I needed to do was really a talk with your body challenge. So we did this talk with your body challenge where every day was a different meditation to take on for connecting with your body and why you're, why you feel the way you do, why you're eating the way you do. And it was very interesting as I started going through it, especially with all of this energy. There was a huge amount of energy. It started in October. A lot of, intuitives have talked about, moving from September into October, there was this huge shift. And all this energy was coming in. And as this energy was coming in, like I started feeling like crazier and crazier from everyone's energy and from all the things that were coming up and for all the things that I was like transcending and all of the ascension like that was coming through, all the downloads, as well as just my own awakening to different facets in my life that were suddenly turned on. Like it was just really awful because by December, after I went, that's why I did the body challenge, is I was trying to ground myself. And so November, I did pretty well. But by December, like I had friends that were reaching out to me like, are you okay? Because they were seeing this like total difference in my presence, in my energy, in my emotions. And I think that most of the people that I know that are intuitive and empathic went through a moment in December where they were like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, this is no longer fun. I am not where I want to be. I am not being filled up the way that I want to be filled up. None of this is happening. And I know some of you are giggling. You're like, oh, you want to be filled up, right? And that's part of it, right? There is this connection that we were desiring. And yet it was very, this like, I don't want to say that. I want to say it was like a preemptive energy of what was to come, right? Now, of course, those of us here outside of China, for the most part, and outside of like Taiwan and some of these other areas, we didn't know what was going on and what was starting to take place, right? All we knew is we felt this crazy energy that it just felt just dark and hard to deal with, and it was meshing up with all of these ascension downloads and meshing up at the same time with what I feel was like this huge awakening, especially, and I've seen it with the people that have started following this challenge, like there was this huge awakening to this energy of what really am I meant to be doing here? What is my purpose? And with my twin, am I fulfilling that? And there was all of that energy. And then, as you started empathing the normal holiday, like dysfunction and sadness and sorrow, it became overwhelming. So we were all so excited to get into January. So we get into January, and January is the longest year ever, right? And we don't know why. We don't know what is going on. Why was January so awful, so long, so tedious, so much energy, like moving through everything, like time, dimension, space, people, like everything was transforming. We couldn't wait to get to February. February is when things slowly started, right? Information started getting out about what was going on. And here in the Seattle area in the US, we were the first ones to be like, whoa, what's happening here? And I can remember getting on the phone with my friends that were in other parts of the country and family and saying, if you haven't bought toilet paper yet, you better run out and get some, because there's not a roll to be found here in Washington State. And in fact, I went out on a Monday to get toilet paper, and this would have been the first Monday of March. And I couldn't find it. I had gone out that weekend to go grocery shopping. Nowhere had any. I was like, how can Costco not have any toilet paper? I don't understand. This is a giant warehouse that always has an immense amount of toilet paper. How could they not have any toilet paper? And then going to another store and being like, wow, they're completely out of toilet paper. And, luckily on Monday, a friend of mine, I was, synchronicities. I was just about to pull into the gas station at this grocery store, and my friend said, hey, by the way, there's toilet paper at such and such grocery store. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just pulling in there to get gasoline. So I was able to get toilet paper, but, it was like all of a sudden we started to realize as, energetic beings, that this is what we've been feeling. This whole thing that's coming is what we've been feeling. And as we're moving out of March and into April, I've been doing a lot of channeling. And what's really coming up has been, just a lot about love. I mean, you can see I'm trying to be better when I channel. I might have to start when I channel to actually record what I'm saying so that I can read, do it. Because some of the channeling that comes through, I can't read that muck. I can't tell you again exactly word for word what is being said. But some of it I have tried harder to write out instead of just going with it and feeling it. Because what I'll do is I'll feel it and then I kind of, transcribe it into my own whatever when I'm talking with those that I'm working with. But I wanted to start sharing this. So the first one that came to me for April was saying goodbye to your twin. And I feel like it's essential for me to talk about this. Because when I'm doing the readings, what it's giving you is, it's for hope, right? The readings are oftentimes giving us hope about what's to come. But what you read into it sometimes is going to be based on the fact that you already know, you already have desired and connected with and found your twin, and you may not be able to connect with them in this lifetime. But you're definitely going to struggle to connect with them in this lifetime if you spend all of this lifetime trying to be in control of how you make that happen. And if you do not allow yourself the vulnerability to be open to it and to whatever comes with it, including the pain. And so I felt like that was a really important one for me to put out there for people. And then the second one was about love, and what came through a lot of it was about money and envy, and how as we go through this whole process and we have been isolated in our homes, when I get on Amazon, I'm not looking on Amazon to see what makeup can I buy, or what thing that I've never seen before, what great kitchen gadget can I get. No, there are specifics. There are supplements that I have to have to live my best life. There are, as well, there's, foods that you can't necessarily get other places, especially for someone like myself, my daughter. We have, a lot of food allergies, a lot of environmental sensitivities. And so, right now, the pollen's coming out. So being trapped in the house under more or less house arrest, right, for the whole Seattle area, the dust and the dogs and then the pollen, the combination is a trifecta of hell. And so I can feel myself getting puffy as the days wear on. And so there are things that I need to kind of help my immune system to keep going and to be able to fight through this and to be able to detox through based on, different like genetics, that mutations and things like that. So what's essential changes. And you start to become more aware going into April that there is a higher purpose. So, a year out from my own awakening, and I'm realizing that, yes, there is a higher purpose and that there is choices that we're all going to have to make as we are moving through this and moving to the other side of this, of what really is essential to you. For some people, that's going to be, is living in the city essential to you? Like, I feel like there's a lot of people in like Seattle, in New York, in Los Angeles that may rethink, is this really where I want to be? Is this really where I want to live? Did what I thought of this space mean as much to me as I actually thought when I came here? Or has this played out and I'm ready to go back to, the town that I grew up in, or I'm ready to, try something new that has been calling me. I just watched a video this morning of this couple. I've never seen them before in my life. It popped up on my YouTube to something I might be interested in. And it's this couple who have been living for several years in their van traveling the world, as they're going through the process of getting their tickets to head home to Canada because of the pandemic. Like, people are having to make changes, having to make choices, and realize if something like this can happen, and if we can have our lives like torn up, right? Like at a second's notice, like this, then is this where I want to be? Is this what I want to be doing and who I want to be with? And if you're not with your twin, is it still essential for you to pursue it? Or do you come to a realization that perhaps it's more important for you to just find someone that suits you from your soul group so that you can live your purpose? And so hopefully, like, I try to give you exactly what I see from the cards. I try not to sugarcoat things when there's nothing to sugarcoat, so that you know when it resonates with you that it is the universe saying, hey, it's time to move on from this. Like, you may not feel like you want to move on from this, but it's time to move on with this. I feel like Mother Earth has told us it's time to move on from this materialistic like space that we're in. It is time for us to move on from like wearing masks and hiding who we are. It's time to move on from this whole energy of what we think meant success, and to actually move into what feels like success, what feels like home. You know, if where you're at in life right now doesn't feel like home, right? You know that because home has a specific feeling, and you'll know if you don't feel like you are at home. It's food. If you're eating things that are not resonating with your body, you know that doesn't feel like home. Job, if you're doing a career that doesn't resonate with you, you know that doesn't feel like home. Relationships, if it doesn't call to you, it doesn't feel to you the way that you had thought it was going to. And I'm not just saying, oh, you're working through like the struggles that couples work through, because there are struggles that you're going to work through being a couple, being a parent, all of those things, right? But is it something more, and you realize that this isn't home because you're chakra is asking right now to open up. You're being asked to open up. You're being asked to allow the knowing to come in and to be that which you are meant to be. So I'm going to ask, what does Spirit want to add to all of this? As far as, what do people need to know? I mean, I always say, what do we need to know about the possibilities of love? So what do we need to know about the possibilities of love? So there is a great divide in the whole of the earth soul, and the only way for us as humans to conquer this divide is to be in the space of serving love. Love is the highest vibration, and it is what we are meant for, more than anything else. This is what you have come here for. You may not realize, you may think you were meant to be here to be the next amazing inventor, the next encoded mathematician. I don't even know what that means. That you are here to elevate love and bring that vibration to the world to make it a higher plane of living. This is the only answer, the only key, the only way that we can move forward from where we are today, is to live, be, seek, and track our elevations in all that is the love quantum space. Do not fall from the grace of love, because you will feel what it does pulling you under and taking you to that which does not serve you or the world. Do not fall from grace. You may feel like what you are living right now is safe and stable and secure, but what is being asked of you in this scribbly mess is to track the elevations of quantum love in your life and to move forward to it. So as we move forward in this next week, I hope that this will resonate with you. I hope that you will think about what it says to you. I hope that you will share some of the comments below. Share this with people that you feel need to hear it. And start working through all of the areas of your life to find that quantifiable love that truly sparks that heart chakra, so that you know that you are in the right space, in the right place, because everything else will follow. The abundance, the joy, the success that you desire in life cannot find you if you are not resonating at the highest vibration for it to sync up with. Low vibrations are equivalent to all of the negativity, like the negative foods, the negative emotions, negative body feelings, like looking at yourself in the mirror and not loving yourself. That is such a low vibration. You have to love yourself where you are and start asking through your heart chakra, start asking your body, what am I missing? What is calling to me? What sparks me? Where am I meant to go? And follow it no matter what the emotional roller coaster might be, because nothing goes from A to B like this, right? Like you've seen the memes where it's like what you think success looks like, what success really looks like, right? That is true. And a lot of it has to do with integration and transferring your like epigenetics into a different DNA like sync up, and turning genes on, turning genes off, how your vibrations are then impacting the world around you, how your thoughts then are impacting, thoughts are measurable, so how your thoughts now are impacting the vibrations around you, because as your vibrations raise up, you start helping other people's vibrations raise up. So start thinking about all of these things and start realizing what it is that we are seeking here, what our true purpose here is. All just has to do with love. That's it. It's 100% about love. So I hope that helps. I hope that brings you out of April. You're going to have a long April, everyone. I mean, my kid doesn't go back to any sort of outside of the house classes until after the 24th. So it's going to be a long April for all of us. Have gratitude for where you are. Have gratitude for what you have learned. Use kindness for your fellow man. Think about how you can be kind by staying at home, by, helping to flatten this curve, by not being a selfish little you know what I mean? Because that's not love. That's not a high vibration. Be a high vibration. Find those that make your vibration better. Be vulnerable. Tell your truth. Speak your truth. That's what's coming. What's coming is for us to have the opportunity to now live in truth. For ourselves, for the earth, for the timeline, for generations to come. So thank you for being a part of my channel. I am appreciative and I am loving of every like, comment, subscriber, share, every bit of energetic vibration that you are sending out into the universe as I am sharing hope with you. And that even is hope when you're being told to move on. Hope that there's something else. And that together we will rise up in our quantum energies and we will change the future. So thank you again. And I will talk to you again soon. So bye.